No, it was just kind of continuous drunkenness for 4 years, from which it took me many years to recover. I lived off campus. I was a pizza delivery boy for 3 years. I restored a motorcycle, which I still have. I got an ill-advised tattoo. I made some good friends, but it was not, I did not have the kind of classic, intense, transformative, life-changing college experience that a lot of people have. I wish I had.
One thing actually I just heard about was that apparently there's a Tucker drinking game going around campuses.
Every time I misread the teleprompter, every time I flub it, every time I call it Hurricane Cabrina or something like that, you got to take a shot. You're very drunk by the end.
Sure.
When I was in college, the Contra War was going on in Nicaragua, and I remember having very intense feelings about who was right and who was wrong. And so the summer after my freshman year, my roommate and I decided to go down to Nicaragua for the summer and work and get involved in the war, and support the side that we thought was right, which is not the Sandinista side. And we came away, I think, both learning that just a lot more complex than we thought. That the good guys weren't as good as we thought. The bad guys were probably every bit as bad as we thought. But the two sides were commingling to a much greater extent than we ever imagined.
Right.
And other people's affairs are really hard to decipher. It's like somebody else's marriage. You never really know, what's going on inside it. I think college students are probably too politically involved. Politics is complicated, and you should have, it seems to me, more perspective on the world before diving in or weighing in on, issues like that. You really get the feeling from college professors, or at least from the professors that I had, that America is this sort of deeply corrupt, synthetic place that's fallen so far short of its ideals. Which is true in some ways. But it's important to compare, to put that into perspective, and to compare this country to the other, 192 countries in the world. And, it fares pretty well by comparison, actually. But you really get a sense, traveling abroad, internationally, you really get a sense of how complicated the world is, and people are, and human affairs are. And I think a recognition that, we don't have all the answers is a really good place to start in political activism. Young people, when you wear a bow tie, people hate you passionately. And so a bow tie is one of those things that you can't change once you start.
Sure.
Because that would be giving in.
It's interesting because there really are, I feel like, bow tie people then. Like they're just like you.
See, I don't think of myself as one.
But
and the tragedy of the bow tie is, even if I didn't like it, and I'm not saying I don't, but let's just say I didn't. Let's just say deep down there was an anti-bow tie guy struggling to get out. Mm-hmm. He would never be free. You can't give it up.
That's true.
Because that would be giving in to every, nice bow tie. You know what I mean?
Can you show me how to do it?
It's not bad. Sure. Look, you got to...
How do I know?
There's going to be a lot of intimate contact between us, a lot of man-touching, so I want to prepare you for that. All right?
I'm totally ready.
The first thing you do is you make it as small as you possibly can, because you don't want some floppy, freakish bow tie going on. Now, put it under your collar.
All right.
Right? You wear ties a lot?
I wear ties, yeah.
Okay.
Ties.
You do? All right.
I mean, I guess not a lot, really.
Right. Are you dating?
Meh.
Yeah. Then you shouldn't start wearing ties.
Okay.
You don't wear a bow tie until you found the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, and that person accepts you for who you are, right?
Sure.
Because you start wearing the bow tie now, no chance. It'll be you and 8 cats in your apartment 30 years from now. You know what I mean?
Sure. That's a good call.
Yeah.
I think you're getting like love advice, everything.
Shit, I've got it all. I got married really young, so for me, I found one of the 4 women in America who likes bow ties. I'm set. But you, my friend, would be throwing a perfectly good life away by starting these now. Now, that's not a super great tie job.
Right.
I personally think you look quite dashing.
I think so. I can't really see it.
Now, keep that on and tell me if you're not mobbed on the way out.
Okay.
I'll be surprised if you're... I think Jon Stewart's a funny guy. He was coming on our show to express his frustration over, I'm not sure what. We had this half hour at 4:30, and he was telling us we were responsible for the moral rot in America, and being very, I thought, sanctimonious. He was like kind of a bit of a preacher on our show. I guess the only thing that really annoyed me was his getting high-handed about our interviews of politicians. my job is to interview politicians. And I ask unpleasant questions, or questions to which I want to know the answers, and the politician does not want to divulge the answers. And it can be kind of ugly sometimes. And I'm not defending it. That's just what it is. I want to know something on behalf of my viewers, and you don't want to tell me. And I'm trying to force you to tell me. And you don't like it. I'm sorry. Don't come on the show then if you don't like it. I mean, that's my feeling. Not to be a jerk about it, but that's how I feel, and that's my job. Jon Stewart has politicians on his show, and there's a lot of throne sniffing. A lot of, oh, how did you get so wonderful? And people are mean to you, and why are they so mean? It's Us Magazine. So I'm not criticizing him for that. That's what he does. He's a comedian. But to come on my show and criticize me for being mean, come on.
I think a lot of people at home wonder, what happens during the commercial breaks?
Well, usually there's, I'm sorry you're missing him here, but we have probably the greatest crew in all of television.
Wow.
We have about 8 or 9 guys, the cameraman and the floor director and the lighting guy and audio guy, and they're all in here, and they're a riot. They're a total riot. They're some of the funniest people ever.
Nice.
So usually there's commentary on the guest, or, a lot of back and forth.
Right.
I throw in a piece of Nicorette for 2 minutes, then I take it out 15 seconds before the teleprompter comes up again. It's
Wow.
fun. It's nice. It's a good atmosphere. You should stick around. It's good
I
fun.
would love to. If we could come and stick around for a show.
Kidding, anytime.
All right. I'm taking you up on that.
Please do.
Okay.
11 Eastern, live. And it's good that it's live.